Yeah, we're waiting for him to come back. Hey, how are you doing? Let's make it quicker, right? I agree. But it's here, we can make a roll. Lord, we come before you this evening and thanking you for giving us this day, all the blessings that you give us today, every day. We ask that you watch over this meeting and help us with making decisions that are in the best interest of our water system and its members. We ask that you watch over and protect our first responders, our military, men and women that work to protect us day in, day out. And we ask that you heal all those who are affected by this COVID-19 virus and bless the hands of the doctors, nurses, and all the other people that are taking care of us. And we ask that you help us work toward a virus cure. We ask these things in Jesus' name.
Going to pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary, we have Paul Rose. Oh, okay. You need to approve minutes, transcripts, or meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? None, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We need to approve 455 new memberships, 425 against memberships, 3 transfers for July.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? None, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. On the finance. Savings will be making. Does everyone have a chance to review the finance statement?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. You have a motion, second. Any discussion? None, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have a copy of our corporate income tax return for Commonwealth offices. We need to approve this, so we can sign it. How? Are you okay with it? Yes. Motion to approve this, submitted. Second motion. We have a motion, second, is there any discussion? None, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Our 2020 group employee insurance renewal. I know it's got my name inside it, but Mike has done a lot of work on this and his sheets and formulas for which to see here, so I'm gonna let him take this.
Absolutely, we have,
Dave is still.
Yeah, that's right. Dave, would you like to give an overview or anything of this, or? All right, let's go straight into this board. If you'll take a look at you have the group health insurance options there. You see you have option number one, option number two. Basically, option number one, we have a 5.17% increase for the health insurance. However, the other uh, benefits such as accidental life, dental, they have one other
Vision.
vision are on hold as a hold rate. That's option number one, which is what we're recommending here. Option number two is a 7% rate. Ultimately, there's a what you pay in a November, whether or not there's a premium holiday in option number one of 100% versus option number two of 50%, which basically means November. And again, Dave can speak to this if there are any questions. Um, all of November is 100% covered versus 50% of November is covered. Option number two has a 7.09% increase. The 5.17% increase is a very good and respectable. I mean, it's actually a pretty outstanding increase. The hit for 2021, or I mean, our 2020 budget right now is only a $12,000 hit on the budget. It is a total increase of $50,000 for the entire 12 months, so that'd be $38,000 into the next year budget. So it seems to be a really respectable.
And this is one of the least amount of increases we've occurred since I've been on the board. So this is a less than a $50,000 increase as a package for all of our water systems for retaining the benefits for our employees, especially who've dealt with this COVID. And I think it's something I would recommend to the board person also.
And so, I guess ultimately I want to make a motion, you guys can discuss it. Mr. President, I make a motion to adopt option number one for the group health options.
And I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I'd just like to know, did we shop it at all to find out if there were any other options out there?
We did not. And ultimately, a couple of reasons here. One, I mean, shopping outside, when you're switching carriers or vendors or whatever you want to call it, it's a real, I mean, that's pretty tough on everybody, administration and everything like that. Not only that, we feel the staff, they're having to change doctors and learning the process and everything like that. Now, me personally, everywhere I've worked, we usually stay with one, one health insurance, and then you get to pick your options. The other one, as Dave can attest, if you have questions, if we go out shopping and everything like that, we start sending up red flags, kind of like in the insurance business again, that, we might not be someone that we should be insured by other carriers. Is that the right word, carrier? Or?
Yeah, basically, there are some companies that if you switch carriers more than 3 times in 5 years, they won't even quote you.
And we've done this in the past, and one of the carriers said if we were to shop it, they wouldn't bid it. So basically, we'd only have 2 companies bidding this. And with Dave's experience, with his recommendation, like I said, this being the lowest increase we've had in history, Dave recommended to go with the policy to stay on board. Like I said, what Mike was contesting to, it's easier for transition for the employees and their families, so it wasn't a big burden for staff and everything. So it was a minimal increase.
I recognize, health insurance is not something you jump in and out of. It's a big transition for everybody. But, at some point, because we have been seeing regular increases, we might need to consider, is there another option out there? I'm not saying that's why we need to do that tonight, because 5% is a fairly low increase. The rates are going up everywhere. So.
Absolutely. And staff has conveyed to Will and myself that they are happy with United Healthcare right now. Minimal complaints, the process works well. So that's, Will and I's recommendation from the personnel committee.
We have a motion and second, is there any more discussion? No, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Mike.
On to our operations and maintenance agreement. Whenever we got to the Fairpoint meeting last month, there were a couple insignificant changes that Gulf Breeze, put into the, South Central Road Utility put into the agreement, and we need to vote on it again. So,
Well, I make a motion to approve as presented. I have a few questions.
second. All right.
Daryl, Mike, and Mark, were you working on this also?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been working on that.
Is this your recommendations to the board to approve this as presented?
Yeah, I mean, the change, I think, just specifies that our executive director, if our executive director serves as the Fairpoint executive director, then the compensation from Fairpoint to our water system will be 15% of the executive director's salary. You know, that was a number that was kind of thrown out last year even as to about how much of our executive director's time is spent dealing with the Fairpoint issues, you know, after tracking, you know, hours and you know, time spent doing things. I mean, it's kind of hard to nail it down, so that's just where I'm at.
Okay. All right, that's my only question.
That was the only change, right, Mr. President?
Yes, but Phil, I have one question. Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
On the Fairpoint agreement, the 55 PSI minimum pressure for Midway, that's correct, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Hey, Phil, I have one question myself also.
Sure.
Who designates a system operator on the Fairpoint system? Is that done by the CEO or who does that?
I believe it's always been through the CEO of Olivar's prerogative as to who is staffing, the Fairpoint facilities for all of our workers.
I just seen the highlights, I don't think it changed, that's why I was asking. Thank you.
I don't know that there's a limitation or a stipulation in that agreement that I recall that limits that.
It doesn't, I just seen it was highlighted in the agreement, so I was questioning if anything changed.
Yeah, Phil, it's page 10, I agree, it's under emergency B, 17B, it was highlighted, I don't know if that was normal, that was just normal, or same as Director Goulet's, just a question whether or not the highlight is a concern, or that's just,
I think what happened there was, I think Midway Water System added that in after the original draft was considered. I think that's just something that their staff added in. Calling the bar as a matter of record could actually modify that statement there to also stipulate what their minimum pressure is if the board wanted to as well.
Okay. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Bill. All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Will, line extensions and fire protection.
Well, I know Mr. Dabney was interested in this, and so was I. I know currently we spoke with the engineers last time as far as budgeting concerns, as far as deciding what it was gonna cost. You know, we always try to include, adding adequate fire protection whenever we increase a line or we add a line. And the consensus of the board and some of, questions we may have, I think it's kind of a mute point right now. I think that's something we need to develop into a special meeting and have the board decide rating factors, is which area they feel needs to be addressed with the engineering staff, and then source funding for it. I know currently we have the fire department looking into sourcing funding for it, and I don't know where that's gone. I haven't talked to chief lately.
Yeah.
So.
Board? Moving on to number 6. Audit of our water system 2021 board election. In your packet, you've got the board election process and timeline. It's unchanged other than the dates from last year, which I believe is perfect. Does anybody have any questions? Well, we can get a motion to approve or deny, then we can discuss it.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I have two discussions, I guess.
Okay.
One, does everybody remember Barbara put together this 2020 fact sheet last year?
Mhm.
And it basically says who's eligible, how to vote, and then it's got candidate bios. It's just
Yeah.
nice, basically who, what, when, where, and how to vote. And I would ask that this also be included,
Okay.
if that's okay with all correspondence that goes out. If you need to see it, but basically, it's basically, again, who's eligible to vote, and then how to vote. You know, it's voting in person, early voting, and then absentee or proxy voting.
Okay.
So one is that. And then the other one is on Exhibit G. I don't know if, it's not a page number, but if you look up in the far right, you'll see exhibits in red. And then you'll get Exhibit G. So basically, this is what I would kind of be interested in discussing with the board here. It says, for if any reason you are unable to attend the annual meeting to be held on January 19, 2021, the directors of the corporation respectfully request that you appoint one of the directors or a member of your choice to serve as your proxy vote. For me, I prefer that we are putting the message of absentee voting, that you have the ability to do absentee voting before we say proxy voting. So this, the first thing, if I'm a voter, I'm reading this and going, oh, I should just give someone my proxy, right? I should just let them vote for me. I prefer to let them know you could do absentee. I know it's further down, but I'm trying to reword it.
What if we reworded it to say, if you were unable to attend the annual meeting to be held January 19, 2021, the board of directors of the corporation respectfully request that you vote by absentee ballot, vote by absentee ballot. You may also, elect someone as your proxy to vote for you.
That's perfect for me if everybody's in agreement.
You can put that in a motion, what Darrell just said, I'll second it.
Yeah, it's great, gotcha. So, Mr. President, let's see, amend the motion to include.
I made the motion, so I need to
Well,
amend the motion,
yes.
correct?
Can
Yes, I would be happy to amend.
Sorry, Mark, if you could amend the motion to state what
I
Darrell
was just
said.
trying to keep us from Robert's rules.
Thank you.
somebody is.
Okay, so I'll amend my motion to change paragraph 3 in Exhibit G, to read that if for any reason you were unable to attend the annual meeting held on January 19, 2021, the directors of the corporation respectfully request that you vote by absentee ballot. You may also request a proxy. And they can clean up the language to make it read right in that paragraph.
Could we just say that vote by proxy, or vote by absentee ballot or proxy? Or
You
assign
can
a
do that,
proxy?
yeah. I just like absentee ballot to be the first choice we give.
How about we approve it with additional language to that?
Yes.
We'll read it.
Right, okay. So I've amended my motion.
Per case review.
And I second. the amendment. Thank you.
And I have a discussion item, I guess, I just for clarification, has our, and Barb may need to answer this, has our time frame changed on the amount of time that we're allowing early voting?
No, sir.
So it's
Pretty much day by day.
okay.
That's why.
And what's the procedure for early voting? Is that just an absentee ballot, or do they come in and get a ballot? Or how do we keep track of that?
Absentee ballot.
Absentee ballot.
Right, and just so in her fact sheet.
Or proxy, you can request proxy at the same time.
And then one last discussion item, and this may be the way we did it last year, but as I was reading through the procedures, it says that the absentee ballots will not be open until, I guess, election day, they'll be open and submitted. So,
Is that correct, Ron?
Absentee
That
ballots.
is correct. The, calendar of election department has.
Tap me in.
so what happens if somebody's ballot is incorrect? Is it just void at that point?
We tried to catch them via the outside of the envelope if they came in and did not sign, if they were not signed as they came in. And that's what the canvassing board is for. If we have any questions, if any of the absentee ballots could not be validated or verified before, we would try to contact the customer and get them to come in and correct it if we can determine who turned it in or who requested it. Or we would have a canvassing board meeting, and that canvassing board would determine what we need to do with those.
And then the only thing on the inside would be, that might be a problem, is if they voted for too many candidates, or that would invalidate it.
Right, then it would be taken out, period, from the system.
Okay.
Would not be counted.
Barbara, quick question. From last year, I thought that we did the canvassing board. And we had I think we had 3 ballots last year that we had in question. And I know we were spending some time trying to contact people, so did we do that all on the last day?
No, we try, if we had any questions on them, we did it as we went.
Okay.
Wait,
All right.
give everyone ample time to come in and get it corrected.
Okay.
Is that the day that me, you, and Rob got together with Tammy was there as well, I believe? That's right. So I think it was a couple days before.
Yes.
And that is another thing we will need to do in addition to the election documents is appointing the candidacy board.
Okay. We do need to appoint board members. Once we voted on this, then we'll do a motion. Is there any further discussion? Noted. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, the canvassing board is, I think last year was the first year we had one. And it's the CEO and a board member at large. So,
I can go over here and work on these order.
It shouldn't be someone that would be up for election, right?
I'm not sure those are.
Well, I know, well, you could choose to run between now and then.
I'm not a quitter, I'm just,
Oh, so you're done.
I'm done. It's up to you guys.
Bring it back in.
Did you want that? What does it entail? Does it mean you have to come?
Essentially, we sit down with the Kathy, and if there's any issues, Barbara kind of lays them out, and then there's a 3-person vote, and so we try and, all right, well, we kick the ballot out, and then at that point, we all take a vote, that's how we did it, ferreted out the right decision.
And it was at a specific time of the day, or I'm just.
Whatever time we could all meet.
So good. I believe that. Mr. President, I make a motion to make, Director Summers, the canvas board representative.
Second. We have a motion second. Is there any discussion? Noted, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We have a, impact fee transfer request, which you have in your,
Motion to approve is submitted.
I'll second that motion.
we have a motion and second. Is there any further discussion?
Is this, I mean, I haven't been involved in transfer, how does this stand in?
Phil, do you know anything about this?
Okay.
I kind of do the impression that y'all have to approve the transfer.
We're,
Yeah, it's
that's what I was
informational.
gonna get, that's
I think
what I was
that
gonna get
just
to.
said
There
it
was a,
information only.
yeah, oh, okay,
Or we could interrupt past part for
okay,
clarification.
just information.
I would draw my motion.
All right. So you don't, is there any questions?
What normally happens is, let's say if somebody pays for water and sewer tap on a piece of property, and they elect that, you know, I really don't want to do it now, they have the option to move that to another parcel, if it's equal, if it's less or more, you know, and then there's a difference like that.
One ERU to one ERU.
Right, Mark, then, engineers would calculate that, and Barbara, then we get the other variable, we have to pay the difference, that's all it is. It does happen sometimes.
Very rarely, the last one that happened, we did vote on it. Rules.
Yeah.
Suggested we shouldn't have to vote on it.
Does anybody have anything, further to bring forward for all of our water systems? Then we will move to the call, or person up, sorry.
Yes, so Mr.
Geo's has a question.
Okay.
Water system.
Well, let's finish, let's go to the personnel committee real quick. I gotta take myself.
So, Mr. President and board, you will find in front of you, the letter from RSI, who's who we were using for the CEO search. Lisa put together this because the board, I think also, you know, we all agree that it's very important that we allow local candidates the ability to be able to apply for the CEO position. So right now, Lisa has, she's reached out to 95 potential candidates so far. We're gonna find out what kind of enthusiasm we get. But at the same time, we wanna make sure that we're inclusive and we allow local candidates the ability to apply for the position. So, this is basically the job description, what we're looking for, and down at the bottom, it basically says, you know, send your resume and your salary requirements to her email. She'll start the paperwork and the vetting and all that. So, if you guys are good with that, I'd just like to make a motion to, have Holly Navarre Water System post these instructions on our website, our Facebook, and the local news media so that the local candidates can apply.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second, is there any discussion? Noted, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything else on the personnel?
And, that's, yep.
All right.
You are doing great.
We do have a golf course committee, Greg couldn't be here tonight, we are still waiting on the agreement, the attorneys to finish up the agreement that we approved last month, for any potential future savings, so as soon as we get that, we'll get to the board.
And, Mr. President, if I could speak to that, Director Teresa had dropped off, as you, and the paper that's got the graph here, and asked me to just speak to the graph. If you'll notice, the orange being the reimbursement and the blue being the course operating income. Our course operating income from since 2013 to present is going up in a nice, steady, positive stock market look that we want to see, and our affluent reimbursement is coming down. So he just wanted to show a nice, I believe, he and Cindy worked on this to show that the course is actually, you know, again, from both the reimbursement and course, operating income moving in a good, positive direction. Thanks, sir.
So now, does anyone have anything from the board? I'll call ours. Gio, you wanted to say something? Please.
Gio, Mayor. How many positions are open for the January election? Three. Have any of the incumbents officially announced they're not running?
Two.
Which two?
Me and Will.
I'm still thinking about it.
It'll be good. Okay, now, on to Cindy.
Yes,
Um,
for the financials, are you ready?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, for the financials for the golf course, for the end of month July, we had course operating income of 58,256 positive. And year to date, that would be 135,329. Again, our course revenue is a little lower, but we did drop our expenses quite a bit. Due to COVID, we're still doing really well. After the depreciation was included, like you guys were asking last month, for the month we were 35,320 positive, and year to date we are only negative 22,864, and that is with the golf course being closed for almost a full month.
That's awesome, Cindy.
Yep, that was a very good month. And I do appreciate, and for me, Cindy, I think being able to discuss the course operating income and depreciation, which would be your accounting number, being able to see those two helps out quite a bit, so, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Remind me, did we receive any of that PPP, that forgiveness money? I believe we received that.
Yeah.
Is that all
We did
spent
receive
on?
a loan.
Yeah, those.
We did receive a loan of a little over $150,000, and we are gonna apply for the forgiveness.
When does that, when does the 100, so is the 150 on the balance sheet then as non-revenue or like a loan?
Yes, it is.
And then once it's forgiven, if it's forgiven, it just goes straight into revenue, right?
That's correct, it'll show as income.
Cool.
Stop.
I knew it was. Just let it go.
I represent Michael Miller.
I make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the financial statements as presented. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm sorry, actually, Cindy, also on the balance sheet, I think I noticed that we're getting, is the Yamaha fleet coming out of rotation?
Yamaha fleet is up November 1st. I do have, two companies that, I contacted three companies, I've had meetings with two of them, EasyGo and Yamaha, they're both getting me quotes.
So
Some car
November,
has not gotten,
go ahead,
I'm sorry,
no, you go ahead.
some car has not gotten back with me.
Gotcha, so come November, we're gonna have a new fleet, contract.
I'm hoping within the next month to have, proposals from EasyGo and from Yamaha, hopefully from some car to present to the board.
What if we don't agree to a new contract by November? Do we get to keep the carts or are they just gonna come and take them? I guess my question is,
I would have to,
yeah, go ahead.
I would have to negotiate with Yamaha to see if we can extend it for a little bit longer. Our cars are getting older, we're having, some issues with batteries and tires, but they are still running quite well.
mean, I'm with you, we need a new one, I'm just thinking about the future, though. Getting into a long-term contract,
Yes.
but we'll get there when we do. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
Not on that.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President, before we get into engineering, I request the board to stay after. I have a question for Keith and the board.
Number two, the update, I guess I gave that update a few minutes ago, but the attorneys, their work on the, that we charged them with, so. Anything else? Engineering, Bill.
Only thing I have tonight is to let the board know that the contract with Jacobs is now in the attorney's hands, so we kind of hope that, we'll hear something from Will in the next couple of days, if he's okay with the, legalese in the contract, and then Darryl can execute it per the previous board motion.
Anybody?
Thanks, Bill.
Now we'll go to our public forum, if there's anyone who'd like to speak.
We have a list of sign up forms.
Thank you for coming out this evening. I guess I would. Yeah, since y'all got on board.
I'll be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
Yeah, one of those,